The video is rolling, and it is time to learn about food for thought.
Okay, so my science fair project was called Food for Thought because I was experimenting or testing to see if different foods could increase or improve one's memory or brain capacity, I guess. So the problem question was, are there any foods that can increase or improve memory? My hypothesis was that there was, because I did research and I found that anthocyanins, quercetin, and folic acids had properties that could increase memory or improve memory. Well, my hypothesis didn't really pan out that well, but I'll talk about that later. Materials, I needed the food, just to know about it, research on the food. I needed 12 at least. I needed 12 subjects at least, and I ended up getting 14. My procedure is for the entire project was to first research food that can help boost memory. Second, create memory tests for my subjects. The third thing to do was to have subjects take tests and report the results. The fourth thing was ask half of the test subjects to change their diet for 3 weeks, or the allotted time for the science fair, and keep a food log, and those are in here for the people who changed. And have the other half keep their normal diet, and to compare and contrast between the foods, see if they changed. And and then repeat that for the second test. The procedure for my human subjects was to first gather them, gather 14 subjects, and then to divide them into 2 groups. The groups are a little uneven because I had 2 people from group B choose not to take it, or not to take part in it, and they kind of dropped out a little bit into the project, so my groups are uneven. But I was still able to get some readings, I guess you could say. And then, so after you divide them, you have them keep the food log, and there's not much else that the subjects have to do except take the tests and they the subjects. Actually giving the test is, I was kind of more adapted to some people's test-taking strategies, because the very first test I gave, the subject just said the words that I just finished saying, so because I didn't have any time in between. So I had that person retake the test with my new rules, and the first rule is to make sure they're away from any memory aids and in a clear space so they can clear their mind, and have them clear their mind of any work day or day stress, and then read the list of 20 items. It's these 2. Read the list of 20 items loudly and clearly, and then wait 30 seconds, and after 30 seconds, give the subjects 1 minute to say as many as they can remember. And the variables. I put this in here because, there's just so many variables in this project that I just had to write something about it. And it doesn't really look like seem like there's a lot of variables just by looking at this project, but the amount of things that could happen while taking the test is enormous. I had one subject who was afraid of my dog, and even though my dog was outside, the person was still worried about my dog. So they claimed that affected their test taking results. But so there's that, and then there's cell phone reception, because I don't get any in the house. And then there's time of the day when they're taking the test, and that can really affect. I saw some great effects on that part. So it's just a lot, and I think I was able to control them pretty well, but that might have affected the test taking results. if someone was taking the test over the phone, I had them take this pledge, and that was stating that they wouldn't use notes or like gather items just so they could remember them, and that they wouldn't cheat on the test and compromise my project. And the second part was for those of them changing their diet to try their best and to change their diet and keep the food up. Purpose of my experiment is I wanted to see if there was any way to increase or improve memory by changing your diet. Conclusion. I concluded that no, really, like the food, it's more like an urban myth, really, because like the people, like it was like more like random test scores. Like I had people decrease and stay the same in the changing group, and people like were still increasing in the group B that didn't change their diet. So I concluded that the food really had no effect, and that's I did some more research and I found that, well, I pretty much concluded that it's an urban myth like that's probably been created by like food like like people who grow the like spinach. Like spinach isn't that appealing, just spinach, but someone tells you that it can make you smarter and you're gonna eat it like carrots. Okay, like your eyesight, so now like it's a reason you eat them. I mean, they taste kind of good, but carrots, you like it for your eyesight. And here's my bibliography. So I concluded that way, and there's my research on memory food, and I found some more effects that anthocyanin can have. Like, it's supposed to like be able to like fend off, like if you eat it like regularly, it'll like fend off Alzheimer's, and there was no way to really test that in my project. I wanted to, but I did some research on it, and it says neurodegenerative disease, and that's Alzheimer's, and it's supposed to be able to defend against that. So I urge people, like, you know, I urge like my elder like subjects to keep eating these foods even after my project, because it's supposed to be able to like fend off Alzheimer's like effectively. So, and here's a list of my brain foods. I separated them into fruits, nuts, dairy, vegetables, and just miscellaneous stuff. I have almonds here, and yogurt, and bananas. Brown rice and salmon were in the miscellaneous group, and spinach. And here's my test scores for groups A and B. Group A was the experimental group, and Group B was the group that stayed the same, for some compare and contrast. Here's the profiles of all my subjects and participants, since I couldn't use names. And memory test 1 and 2. That's it. Any questions?
Questions?
Yeah, so carrots really don't help you see?
There is research that like they can, but no, it's probably something that's been urged on by the carrot like distributors. You know. Corey.
What inspired you to do this project?
2. Okay. So I'm the first one who has to answer that. So I really felt strongly urged to test if food could improve memory.
Okay.
I just felt strong. I just had urge inside me.
Thanks
So,
for that.
yeah. Olivia.
So, are you saying that when you did the test were kind of like random, so like food recipes you really don't affect your memory at all, or is it just like they're just the little things that you choose?
Yeah, well, I kind of, I told people to like try and eat like, not just like stay like in the fruit section or stay like in the dairy section. I tried to tell them like eat like foods from all over the list. And like in the test scores, it is kind of random because people like, some people went down like pretty dramatically in like my experimental group that were supposed to change their diet, and they did. but they, like, some people went down, some people went up, but it wasn't by, like, exponential amounts, so it wasn't really.
So it kind of like just like had to do like what kind of person?
Yeah, like that's one of the variables, like, you know, like what, because like people, like one of my group A people who actually went down was the person who was afraid of my dog, so it could just be like a mental state that your memory is affected. So, thank you.